Welcome to Building Giig. In this devlog series, I'm going to take you through my day by day on how I'm building recruitment software and how our tiny team is attempting to compete with the Goliaths of the industry. Before we get going for things for week one, you might be asking yourself, what is Giig? Now, Giig is a relatively new product in the recruitment space. We've been going about 3 or 4 years. Initially, we started out as a different product in COVID, and we've had to pivot to support this market as our old market dried up. So we're building a CRM/ATS in an industry that is already full of CRMs and ATSs, but really they're full of big players. So we've got guys like Bullhorn, JobAdder, and there's loads, but Recruit CRM is another one. So these guys have been in the game for a long time, and they've got a big old chunk of the market, and they're kind of the big sharks. And as we can see, we're like kind of living in a Red Sea, and there's us over here. We're like Giig, we're here. So we're this tiny player in a Red Sea of sharks, and they're just eating our lunch basically. So what we're kind of attempting to do here is we're trying to create a blue ocean within this, where we're aiming our product at startup/small recruitment agencies, the ones that these bigger guys don't really care about. Like if they win their work, that like cool, but it doesn't change their bottom line. Whereas to us, obviously, it's big news. So we're aiming this at kind of the 1 to 10, anything up to like 10 to 20. I think is kind of where we're aiming. If there's an agency size of up to 20, that's us, and that's the little pool that we are kind of sitting in. So we're trying to build a product that has the features of these guys, of Bullhorn, JobAdder, Recruit CRM, and all the others, but for the smaller company. So now you know about the product we're building. Let's get down to our first week in this devlog. So you can see from my little screen here, this is kind of an overview of my week this week, what it looks like anyway on this Monday. So first off, I did a push last week, so there's a couple of bug fixes that came in over the weekend. That is kind of priority for this morning, to look at the bugs that came through and to make sure they're fixed, and kind of do a little hot push or hot fix. Then we've got this turning off canvas pop-ups into pages. Now that doesn't really mean much, but I can kind of give an example. If I come here and I kind of just fire up this job, you can see that it kind of comes through. This is in our platform. It comes through. It's like this pop-up takes up pretty much most of the screen, and to get rid of it, you've got this little cross up here, or you can click at the bottom. Now, whilst we thought we were being super innovative when we built that, the problem we've got now is we're kind of realizing that people don't know where to go from here, and they're clicking the back button up here, and it's not doing anything because essentially the content is overlaid on top. So what we're going to do is we say turning off canvas, which is the name of this pop-up. So this is an off canvas, and we're going to turn that into a page, so it kind of has the same effect as a page. So that's that one. And then we're going to do CV formatting. So this is a brand new feature that we're going to be building throughout this kind of mini series that we've got going on. Obviously, people upload CVs, they want to brand them in their way. We're trying to build an easy way for that to happen. So that's kind of my main focus this week, minus all the other stuff, obviously. But so over the next maybe 2 weeks, hopefully, might even leak into 3 weeks, I'll be building this CV formatting feature, which will allow people to upload candidate CVs and automatically format them into like their branding, and to make changes to the CV and things like that. We've got some new changes to the website, so that's kind of on me to make some changes. Luke has been working hard on the changes of the website, but needs me to support in pushing those across. We've got a Team DB report, so this is a database report that I've got to produce. Now, you might be thinking, like, this is stupid to be doing like a manual task like generating a report for a single user. But there's a couple of reasons to that. So the first reason being we've not got the functionality yet, and the user wants a report. So that's kind of the main reason. But the second reason, which is kind of like a nice thing here, is once we've built the report, obviously I can save the code that generates the report and rerun it every single time. But it gives us a really good base to work off when we actually come to build reports later on this year. We've got it in our roadmap to build reports before Christmas. So actually, by having a report that we can build, that just gives us a good insight into the sort of function that we need to build when we come to do that feature. We've got a number of support tickets that I need to work through, and on the new website there's going to have subscriber input and some ticks that need to become orange, so that's on my list as well. Now, this is kind of the list so far this week. There's obviously a number of tasks here that aren't going to get done in the course of this week, and we'll push over into next week, but this is a strong overview of what I've got to do. Monday morning, this is already the list that needs to be done. So yeah, I'm going to get on with the main one, so I'm going to get on with bug fixing and the report here, and then I'll be back with an update. Okay, so day 2, and yes, it was quite good. I would say, I mean, I got caught up a little bit with the bug fixes and the report, and those things happen, but it just meant that I didn't have much time to do the jobs I really wanted to do in that day. So let's I suppose go through the list and see what we ticked off. So we did the bug fixes, the report, which, like I said, took a little bit longer than I wanted it to take, but it's done and I've saved the script, so next time we need to do the report, it won't take as long next time. We got the script I needed to make for the website subscriber input and the orange ticks I've done, and we've now pushed over the new website changes. So I can show you what they look like, and it'd be kind of... So this is the new website that Luke's been putting together. We did have this this top bar, we did have like a huge orange background, and it was quite jarring to the eyes. So we've gone with kind of like this new cleaner look, and he's put effort into new images and things, which makes it look a heck of a lot cleaner. But he needed help basically with just the header. So this header used to be like a real thick orange, and the footer used to be real thick orange, so just needed a few help with that. And this, you can type in your email address here and click start for free, and it will now take you through the process of signing up. So a nice call to action on the site as well. So all good changes. Yeah, they took a little bit longer than I wanted them to take, but that's how kind of these things go. So moving forward then today, I have started making progress on turning the off canvases into the off canvas pop-ups into pages. I've made some significant progress, and I've also come up with like a few more additional features that I want to do with that process. So once I've made some good progress, some progress I can show you, then I will show you everything I've done in changing those off canvases into pop-ups. But until then, we'll leave it there, and I'll give you another update later on. Okay, so just a quick update then on how the change is going to turn the off canvases into pages. If I come to the platform, click on a job, you can see now it populates in the middle of the screen here. So obviously this is completely ugly, but it doesn't come up in that big pop-up anymore, and things like the back and the forward function, and they function as you kind of expect them to do. So I also mentioned earlier that there was a couple of sidetracks that I've been working on as part of this, And to demonstrate those, like if I was to go into job, you can see now up the top here that it's got like this breadcrumb type thing, where it allows me to kind of just jump back to wherever I wanted to go. So like if I go into the .NET developer job, it allows me to jump there. If I wanted to go back to the dashboard, that is also on there. And so that would then allow me to it kind of keeps track of the last 5. So if I was to go on to another job, let's just say like this, obviously all these jobs are absolute trash, but if I come on to like Biscuit Taster, the first link has now popped off entirely, but it allows me to quick link back to where I was before. As part of that as well, I've now changed out this icon we've got here, and this, if I just come onto the dashboard, this populates this pop-out tray, and it's got recently viewed, and at the moment it's got this kind of breadcrumb in here because I'm just kind of testing how it works. So you can see like dashboard, the big job, the Biscuit Taster, like I said, all the jobs are absolute trash, but you can see them populating in there. And this would kind of act as a like what you've recently looked at. So this will also list out the candidates you've looked at, the contacts you've looked at, the companies you've looked at. It would be like a list of everything you've done in this session that you can just come and like just quickly get back into that job, for example. So you could be working away and go, I need to get back into the Biscuit Taster. Then you can get straight back into it without having to search it, without having to go to your database, anything like that. Because you viewed it today, it would list it here. So, and obviously the tray stays open, which is pretty cool. So I think that would be good. Obviously it looks absolutely terrible. I've got to style it out now. I've got to get the pages working. I've got to make this look good. But as a whole, I think that's a pretty good update. I think it will be effective, and I think people will like it. Maybe. So it's Wednesday, pretty much the end of the day now. It's 5:15 before I'm making this update, and the reason for it has just been one of those days really. I wanted to make significant progress with the off canvases and the style upgrades that I spoke about yesterday, and this morning I kind of made those changes, and it was kind of going well, and then kind of I hit a blocker with the back button, which sounds weird, but the back button fires a state, and I wasn't handling it correctly, and the platform, I've kind of like hit a bug, if you like, this whole afternoon trying to fix this one bug where the back button is not playing ball a lot of the time. I mean, I can demonstrate it so you can see what I've been stuck on, but it's just a bit sad really. So I can navigate to a page, and then when I click back, I get this inf. I mean, it worked that time, which is just typical, but it doesn't work all the time. So okay, so now that I've clicked the back button, I then can't go to any other page. It just continues to load, and you have to hit refresh. So that's the bug that I'm kind of stuck with at the moment. I've been attempting to debug it kind of all afternoon, and it's not been playing ball at all. So that's going to have to go into tomorrow, and that's kind of why this update is quite late. So you can see here anyway that the style of these pages is a lot better. You might also notice that I've got rid of this breadcrumbs along the top here entirely. I spoke with Luke about it. It looked nice on some pages, messy on others. So the solution was kind of just to keep it in the side. So you can see this icon here. I've got a little plus, so you can. It's kind of to indicate that it pops out. And now this looks like this. So you can see it's a vast improvement from where it was yesterday. It's got little titles for the content type, and it's got recent. So these are the breadcrumbs that are up here, that used to be up there. Sorry. So you can click. You can still use it exactly the same, and obviously this tray kind of remains out. So the breadcrumb works in the same way. It's just in the side here now. I've also added these filters along the top, so you can just go to your recent pages, your candidates, contacts, companies and jobs, and these have been updated to only allow one record of each. So what I mean by that is, like, if I said click on Stephen Bartlett again, it won't add Stephen Bartlett as a second link, it will just push him to the top because it's like the most recent contact now. So I think that's a pretty good update. Whereas before, what it was doing, like if I clicked Stephen Bartlett, it was adding another one. So you could have like 10 Stephen Bartletts inside here. So I did that. And I think this works really well. And I think people will use it. There you go, similar to this. So now you can click to open this and close it. I'm not sure if you can see it on the recording, but this icon is now changed as well. So it's now a plus and a minus, which I think is more indicative of what it does, the plus and minus. Yeah, and that's the usability. So overall, as a day, the morning was quite good, made good progress with the styles. Got stuck all afternoon on that refresh issue, or the back button issue that is causing kind of my router on the platform, the router that handles all the page loads, to kind of be a bit iffy at times. It's frustrating. It's going to have to leak into tomorrow for me. I'm going to have to think about it pretty much all night and try and think of a solution, or try and work out what the problem is, basically. I've tried a lot of stuff, and sometimes some of the stuff I try, I feel like I'm making progress because the back button works, but then the other links stop working. And then sometimes I tried something different where the other links continue to work, but then a secondary back doesn't work. So it's inconsistent. A lot of the changes, or a lot of the fixes I was trying to make, was inconsistent, not good enough. So it will leak into tomorrow, and hopefully we can find a solution to it all. But that's just the reality of building software, I suppose, is you get caught up on these things. We want it to work well, and also these things take time. So even though the update is a bit crap, that's the reality of my day. A bit of a stressful one, not much progress made, and it is what it is. Yeah! It's Thursday, and finally fixed the bug with the off canvases and the pages and all that jazz and the back button. The solution was so simple, and it took me ages. I spent like last night researching so much. Even was asking chatbots and things like that, giving different chatbots the same scenario to see what they come up with, different answers and stuff. And nothing was kind of coming up with an answer that was helpful in any way. And then this morning I found, just like doing a bit of digging, I found some duplicate code which was causing the problem. So I mean, here's the platform now working in all its glory. We've got our recents in here. I went through all this yesterday, but now if I click the back button, it works. Woohoo! Go me. Back button and forward button work. I mean, this is all trivial stuff. You expect this stuff to work. Now the issue was in here. So this is the code I added. The pop state is the back button, or the pop state is the back button and the forward buttons, and then this gets the event and the URL and reloads it, passes it through the router and reloads it, and then reinitializes any jQuery or JavaScript that it needs to reinitialize. This is the code I was running, and this is the code that I was frustrated about and wasn't working. And then just randomly, by off chance, I thought, oh, I'll do a search to see if there's any other pop states running. And then this one was. And this was basically overwriting it. So so this was running and running correctly, and then this was running immediately after and just wiping out all that hard work. So the answer was super simple. The bug was something I did myself. I'm not even sure when I added this code, probably years ago at this point. But it's just funny how, I mean, there's always an answer to bugs, but this plagued me for ages, and I mean, I'm glad it's fixed, but also it's super frustrating that something so simple was causing like a day and a bit of frustration, really. So anyway, it is what it is. Okay, so coming to our to-do list then for this week, we can finally tick off this turning off canvas pop-ups into pages. That's done. So all this now will go over to Luke for testing. He'll have a play around with it, he'll try and find bugs and things, and it might come back. So hopefully it's all good, and if it's all good, then we can push it live and people can start using it and we can start getting feedback. But that's the process there. And then whilst I was mucking about with trying to fix that, 3 kind of big issues come in. So that's what I'm going to do now. Once I've finished recording this, I'm going to go and fix these 3. But basically there's a problem with the job boards displaying the job description. Some people are complaining about an issue with their job tables, and there's an issue with the welcome tours that are breaking halfway through. So all quite critical issues that I'm going to have to stop going through my list, and these are kind of priority now. So I will come back once I've made progress on these. Okay, so I've now completed those 3 tasks and pushed them up. As it's getting towards the end of the day, I'm going to get on with some support tickets, see if I can tick some of those off, and then hopefully tomorrow, Friday, we can start on our main task for the week. So yeah.
Yeah, that's fine. But I felt like when I was really thinking about it, not really thinking about it, but like.
Right, it's Friday, end of the week. I suppose the question is, did I start with the main feature we were supposed to be building this week? The answer is no. So what basically happened was I sent what I've been working on all week to Luke to test overnight. He tested and come back with a few questions, a few things, and made some really good points as well. So I kind of got on with those jobs first thing this morning. And then kind of as the day crept on, as I fixed the bugs that he kind of highlighted, I was kind of thinking, like, what's the point here of starting a big feature, or even thinking about a big feature when I'm just going to take those thoughts into the weekend. So I kind of shifted my focus onto the support tickets. Now on that support board there was 28 tickets. Now we don't like say, hey, we're going to do everything that the support that you asked for in support, but I kind of cherry picked out of the 28. I managed to get through 15 tickets throughout today, so at least that kind of like makes up for, I think it was Wednesday where kind of not much progress was made. So there's now like 15 more things, fixes, like improvements that I've made, which kind of makes kind of the whole week kind of feel a bit more like achieved. Like I suppose I've done more. So that's what I did. I didn't really focus on that main feature in the end. Did the support tickets instead, and then hopefully that means that next week we can have like a full go at it and have like full brain power going forward. So I'm going to give support ticket a big old tick. Obviously, like I said, there was 28. There was 28 tickets, and I did 15. So there's still 13 to go. But yeah, I think overall that's not a bad week. To round off this video, then, if you want to catch the other guys I work with, that's Luke and Andy, they've got a podcast that they release weekly episodes. That's the Giighire podcast. Every so often they have guests on from the recruitment industry as well, and that's kind of a podcast that's basically like a good laugh between mates. So I'll leave a link in the description for that if you want to check that out. But from me, I suppose, thank you if you've got this far, and I appreciate you watching this, and hopefully it's been interesting. And I mean, if at any point you've got questions about anything that you've seen in this week's episode, if you want to write a comment below, then I'll happily answer it. And if you want to write a comment, you start your comment with "Hey James," I'll then address it on next week's video, so that you'll get like a live video response from me. So that's, leave a comment, I'll answer it. if you start the comment with "Hey James," I'll then record the answer for next week's video. So thank you so much for watching, and if you have enjoyed it, please consider subscribing, I suppose, leaving a like and all that jazz, all that horrible YouTube jazz, but I really appreciate it anyway, and hopefully I'll do another video next week.